The Trump tariffs and Israel arms Gaza. It's 5 and 10 from SkyWatchTV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. I'm Gilbert. Item number 5 today, the travel ban. President Trump's travel ban, restricting entry into the U.S. from 12 countries, partially restricting 7 others, went into effect on Monday. This was an executive order that he issued last week, Wednesday, fully restricting and limiting nationals from 12 countries from entering the U.S. because they're deemed a significant risk. Inefficient screening and vetting processes on the originating end. Those 12 countries: Afghanistan, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Myanmar, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. The 7 countries partially banned: Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Some of the nations open to negotiating with the United States, Somalia in particular, but others just declaring the president a bigot. It's not based on skin color or ethnicity or religion. It's based on you're not vetting the people traveling to the United States from your country. We do not have an obligation to let them in just because they land at one of our airports. Item number 4 today, tariffs. The Trump tariffs. Making news as the Congressional Budget Office has released a letter to Senate Democrats this week, announcing that, I don't think this is what they wanted to hear, that the Trump tariffs would actually reduce the federal budget deficit by $2.8 trillion over the next 10 years. That's trillion with a tra. Well, this comes after backlash from Senate Republicans who wanted spending cuts in the big, beautiful bill that's been sent now to the Senate from the House. But the $2.8 trillion because of fees collected on goods entering the country from other nations would actually reduce the federal deficit. Now, the CBO said this was in part due to the reduction of the size of the U.S. economy. But even after accounting for that, the federal deficit would go down because of these fees. So President Trump and the big, beautiful bill not giving Senate Republicans what they wanted in terms of spending cuts, which eventually the government is going to have to wrestle with, but at least changing the arc of the federal deficit through the use of tariffs. Now, whether this will continue for 10 years, we don't know. The other nations that are finding tariffs imposed on their goods, trying to negotiate lower tariffs with the United States by lowering tariffs on American goods going into their countries. Things will change, but at least as it stands now, the tariffs not giving the Democrats the weapon that they had wanted for political advantage. Item number 3 today, Israel. Unnamed Israeli defense officials accusing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of arming a jihadist gang in Gaza that is aligned with the Islamic State. Now, bear this in mind, that this story, published by the Times of Israel, is based on the infamous unnamed sources. We've seen a lot of those over the last 5 years, and a lot of those stories turn out to be fake news. Now, that said, Netanyahu has confirmed that Israel is, in his words, activating clans in Gaza that oppose Hamas. Activating clans in Gaza. We talked about this last week. Clans in Gaza, family units who have loyalty to one another that is much greater than their loyalty to Hamas, challenging Hamas for control in parts of the Gaza Strip. And it appears, according to Netanyahu, that Israel is behind this and encouraging this, perhaps even to the point of supplying weapons. Now, the Prime Minister is accused of doing this without the permission or the knowledge of the War Cabinet. This emerged in an interview this past Thursday. Former Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman made that claim to the public broadcaster in Israel, Kan Bet, public radio there. Now, again, bear in mind the source. Lieberman, former defense minister, but he is a staunch political opponent of Netanyahu. And frankly, he wants Netanyahu's job, is what it comes down to. So consider the source. From Netanyahu's perspective, you can understand why he would like to divide and conquer in Gaza, weakening Hamas by providing weapons to groups opposed to Hamas. However, he also did this with Hamas, trying to weaken Fatah, which is the group in control of Judea and Samaria, the Palestinian Authority. The group, again, it's a divide and conquer sort of thing, and these strategies have a tendency to backfire. I mean, just remember, the Taliban in Afghanistan was created by the United States with the help of Pakistani intelligence as a way to weaken Russia. And of course, once Russia left, the Taliban didn't just go away. It continued and then started doing its own thing to the detriment of, well, the United States and many others around the world. Item number 2, as long as speaking of Islam, blasphemy in Britain. United Kingdom is no longer a Western nation. We submit as evidence the fact that in the UK today, 2025, you can be heavily fined and even sent to jail for religious blasphemy if you criticize Islam. Twice so far this year, and the year's not even half over, British courts have punished Brits for daring to say something critical about Islam. This month, Hamit Koskun, 50-year-old Armenian Kurd in Britain now, fined $500 US because he burned a Quran outside the Turkish consulate back in February. The British Isles, United Kingdom, used to have a blasphemy law that was reserved for prosecuting people who criticized the Anglican Church, which is the Church of England, headed up by the monarch, now King Charles. The last prosecution under that law was in 1977 against a gay newspaper. So it's been 50 years since anyone was prosecuted for blasphemy under the old blasphemy laws in the UK, except now there is a new blasphemy law, and it applies to anyone who dares criticize Islam. Again, Britain is no longer a Western nation. It is now part of the Ummah. Coming up, Democrats celebrate the return of a Maryland man, but maybe they should have waited a minute to find out why he was coming back to the United States.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the ministry of SkyWatchTV and our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the four corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this urgent new work when you order The Rise of the One World Mind Hyper Collection. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Josh Davis's new book, Rise of the One World Mind, How to Thrive Under the Threat of Globalism, but it also includes the companion DVD, Brainwashing the Masses. In this incredible expose, Josh Davis unlocks the truth behind the global elites that are brainwashing the masses in order to move the world toward globalism. Discover the manipulation techniques they're using now to reshape society, how it all ties to the prophetic end times, and the biblical strategies that you can use to stand firm against deception. But that's not all. This special offer also includes the brand new DVD, No More Rapture Anxiety, which tackles the fear secretly felt by millions of being left behind after the rapture and unable to find their loved ones. As globalism and evil rise, these fears known as rapture anxiety only intensify. This powerful teaching by Josh Davis reveals how this fear stems from a misunderstanding of the gospel and provides biblical truths to overcome anxiety, empowering you to live fearlessly in the days ahead. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of $75. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. You can scan the QR code using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Rise of the One World Mind Hyper Collection now.
Item number 1 today, a Maryland man returns to the United States. I think he'll wish that he hadn't. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was the center of a political firestorm here about a month ago, he's being returned to the United States from El Salvador. He's the illegal alien who the corporate media, you see there the Axios report, wrongly deported to El Salvador. I mean, look, he was in the United States illegally. Deporting him doesn't seem wrong. It seems like that's what happens when you enter another nation without their permission. But the way it was reported, he was a peaceful man living a quiet life with his wife and children in Maryland. He's a Maryland man. Now, he's not an El Salvadoran who's in the country illegally. He's a Maryland man to the corporate media because it makes Donald Trump look bad. After it was announced that he was returning to the United States, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, who you remember traveled to El Salvador and met with him poolside with margaritas to try to obtain his release. Didn't happen immediately, but it was announced on Friday that he is coming back. So Senator Van Hollen immediately took to social media to declare victory over that evil dictator in the White House. Well, again, they should have taken a beat and waited to find out why he was coming back. Because on Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi unsealed a grand jury indictment which alleges that Garcia participated in at least 100 trips to smuggle people into the country over 9 years. He was a human trafficker. In fact, the grand jury found it was his full-time job. Grand jury found that 29-year-old Garcia was a member of MS-13, one of the most brutal gangs in the Western Hemisphere, transported thousands of undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens, including children from Texas to states across the country over a 9-year period. He also allegedly transported drugs, firearms, abused female migrants, and was linked to an incident in Mexico where a tractor trailer overturned and killed 50 migrants. This is who the corporate media and Democrats have been defending for the last 6 weeks. Well, welcome back to the United States, Mr. Garcia. It is expected that once he is tried and prosecuted, and based on the evidence the grand jury finds conviction is likely, he will likely wind up back in El Salvador. Again, Democrats should have waited before trying to score on this particular story. Political points, anyway. Josh Davis, our guest this week on the main SkyWatch TV program. He's the author of Rise of the One World Mind. It is how technology is basically building the infrastructure for the coming one world government. You can watch the program now at skywatchtv.com. It's also available over the air. Our broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. But you can set the schedule. If you've got a smart TV, add the SkyWatch TV channel, and we'll be there whenever you click the remote. Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Google TV, Android TV. Check their app store for the SkyWatch TV app, add it, and we'll be there whenever it's convenient for you. We're also available online, youtube.com/@SkyWatchTelevision. Please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, leave your comments, and rumble.com/SkyWatchTV, or add the SkyWatch TV mobile app to your smartphone or tablet. It's free and available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets. We've got links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. This weekend, Sharon and I will be at the Mysteries of the Bibleverse live event from Southwest Radio Ministries. Pastor Carl Gallups, one of the other speakers. Sharon and I both speaking twice. And if you can be there in person, Friday and Saturday at the Drury Suites in Carmel, Indiana, which is a suburb of Indianapolis. We sure hope we can see you there. If you can't make it, you can sign up for live stream, faithnetTV.lightcast.com. Either way, if you can't be there in person, please consider streaming video. Mysteries of the Bibleverse gets underway Friday morning, and 2 days of information, things your Sunday school teacher didn't talk about. More information at marginalmysteries.com. In July 25th and 26th, Sharon and I will be with Joe Ardis Horn at the Go Therefore Conference in suburban Dayton, Ohio. This will be in Brookville, Ohio at the Harvest Revival Center. Pastor Carl Gallups, one of the other speakers there. Dr. Igal German just added to the speakers list. You can find the complete list of speakers and sign up for in-person tickets or streaming video at gothereforeconference.com. That's gothereforeconference.com. And in August, we look forward to welcoming you to the Ozarks, the Remnant Rising Conference, August 22nd through 24th at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center in Springfield, Missouri. Basically, all of us from SkyWatch TV will be there. Joe Ardis Horn, Donna Howell, Nita Horn, Sharon and me, along with Pastor Carl Gallups. Messianic Rabbi Zev Porat from Israel will be there. We've also got some other surprises, some new names that I can't reveal just yet, but will be announced shortly. Paul Begley, Jamie Walden, Vicki Joy Anderson, Kevin Shipp, Dave Hodges, and more. Please go to hearthewatchmen.com for more information. Hear the Watchmen for in-person tickets and streaming video, and save $20. Save $20 with promo code SkyWatch20, that's SkyWatch20, and they will match that $20 discount with a $20 donation to Whispering Ponies Ranch. In October, Sharon and I invite you to join us in the Holy Land. This will be a tour from north to south, showing you sites that are basically the main battlegrounds in this long supernatural war in which we're all deployed. We're very thankful that Aaron Lipkin of Lipkin Tours is an archaeology nerd just like Sharon and me, because we get to go places most other tours will not. Gilgal Rephaim, Israel's Stonehenge, a sister site called Kerbet Bateha, which I think the only guy who knows about it other than Aaron and us is the archaeologist who dug there back about 10 years ago. And we had the opportunity to spend a day with him a couple years ago in Israel. So we're looking forward to explaining why that location is where we believe Jesus was baptized. We'll also show you the historic locations of the crucifixion and burial tomb of Jesus, not on the usual tours. And of course, the sites you want to see: Nazareth, the Jordan River, the Sea of Galilee. We'll go to the Temple Mount. We will go to the Mount of Olives. And, oh yes, Shiloh, to show you the red heifers. That's on the tour as well. Please consider joining us in October. We've got one busload that we're going to take with us and still a few seats left. Find out more and reserve your spot at gilberthouse.org/travel. That's gilberthouse.org/travel. Follow 5 in 10 online. We're on X at 5_in_10. And of course on YouTube at 5 in 10. Please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, leave your comments below. And thank you for watching. As we keep watch, I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from SkyWatch TV.
The prophecies foretold of a coming Savior, one that would reach across the veil and set the captives free. Featuring Derek Gilbert,
UFO True Believers, the Ancient Aliens Prophets,
Carl Gallups,
the cherubim, the living creature,
and Micah Van Huss.
The story of the giant of Kandahar.
At the Mysteries of the Bibleverse event in Carmel, Indiana, June 13th and 14th.